Hello there, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're safe and well. This video is the first of a series of videos that I'll be doing about a budget entry-level PCP. So let's roll the title, shall we? If you've checked out the other videos on my channel at all, then you will find a series of videos that I did based around a budget Springer. In that case, that was specifically for shooting HFT. But anyway, having already covered a budget Springer, I thought it was about time that I did the same thing and covered a budget PCP rifle. So this is what this series of videos is going to be all about. The first big question though is, which PCP rifle was I going to choose? I wanted something in 177 caliber that would come in with a budget of under £500, and I also wanted something that was multi-purpose, on the basis that, you know, a new air gunner coming into the sport wouldn't necessarily be entirely sure on, you know, which aspect of the sport that they were going to choose to begin with. They may decide that they just want to do plinking. They might then decide they want to do a bit of target shooting and get into bench rest, or they might want to do, say, HFT or even a bit of hunting. So I needed to select a rifle that was pretty capable of covering all those bases from a beginner's perspective. So as a first step, I decided to go on the airgun forum and ask for advice from other air gunners. I had a list of potential air rifles that I thought would fit the bill, and asked for recommendations from the people on the forum. Now, my initial list was probably influenced mostly by all the glossy ads in the magazines and also what other people were buying, which was mainly the Turkish rifles, and that's what I assumed this rifle would come from that list of Turkish rifles, brands like Reximex and Kral. But to my surprise, the overriding recommendation, at least 50% of the people on the forums were recommending that I look at Gamo. And I foolishly completely discounted Gamo as a brand, which I guess I shouldn't have done. So I needed to investigate those further. So I went down to the gun room at Cambridge Gun Club, where I knew that they had a number of the different Gamo rifles in the range there that I could take a look at. I'm here in the gun room at Cambridge Gun Club then, where they've kindly allowed me the opportunity to compare a range of Gamo PCPs. So we're going to look at the synthetic stocks that are available. Got three models here that I'm going to take a look at. They're all pretty similar, starting off with the GX40, then the GX250, and then the Coyote. There is a fourth rifle that fits in this range, which is the Fox, which comes in a package with a pump and a gun bag. But that, for all intents and purposes, the rifle itself is almost identical to the GX40, so we don't need to look at that in particular. As far as I understand it, all of these rifles are built in the Birmingham BSA factory, the UK. They all have the hammer forged BSA barrel, and they all use the same, in 177, the 10-shot BSA magazine. So very good pedigree. And one of the criticisms, as I understand it from what I've read of the GX40, is the small cylinder, which obviously gives you a limited shot count. So not ideal if you're plinking and target shooting, where you're having to stop to refill the rifle all the time. So the GX250 has actually got a longer cylinder, so you get more shots. I measured them with my tape measure. The barrels are all the same length barrel, so I assume that the same barrel in each of them. But the cylinder on the GX250 is about 10 centimetres longer than the one on the GX40. So clearly more air, more shots. I did do a piece a while back on the GX250, so we'll go and take a look at that now. I have here then a Gamo GX250 PCP air rifle. It's not mine, belongs to Cambridge Gun Club. It was one of the rental rifles, so it's been well used, I should imagine. And I was given it to bring it home because the action was a little bit loose. It needed a quick repair, which I've done, and gave me a chance to shoot it as well. Now this the GX250, it comes with this scope on it, which is a what is it? 3-9 by 40 fixed focus scope. Having shot it, I suspect that the focus is fixed at about 25 meters. It's just a crosshair through the scope. There's no graduations or anything on the reticle, and the reticle is a bit thick. And it also comes with this moderator or silencer on the end as part of the package. Just a couple of things that I've noted while I've been shooting it really is mainly the gun fit. If I bring the rifle up to the aim, the rifle, there's no magazine in it, it is empty, and the safety's on as well. So if I bring the rifle up to the aim, and I get a good cheek weld in the on the cheek piece on the rifle, you can see where my eye alignment is. I can't actually see clearly through that scope. If I want to see through the scope, then I have to come up, and instead of fitting the stock up under my cheekbone where I normally would for a good cheek fit, I have to sort of like fit it in that part of the jaw there, which is not ideal. And then you're sort of like hunting around to get the movement to line up. So that is an issue. Yeah, great that you get the scope with it, but the scope is too high on the rail, or the fixed cheek piece is too low. Now they've made this cheek piece. It's actually like, it feels like it's like a clip-on bit, but they put a seam around it to make it look like it's adjustable, but it's not. So that is the real weakness in this rifle, the fact that you can't get a decent eye alignment with the scope that comes with the rifle. Other than that, it's a nice rifle. Cold hammer forged barrel by BSA. BSA 10-shot magazine in 177. This is 177. The bolt action is very nice. If I pull this back, it clicks nicely, nice and smooth, very easy to use. And if I fire it off with the moderator works okay for garden use. It's just a shame in this package that you can't really, unless they sort this out, you can't really use it. Now, as I understand it, Gamo, as a result of this, bought out a sort of cover that goes over the top with a pad that lifts the cheek piece up so that you can actually get your eye alignment. But when you buy a package rifle with everything in, you wouldn't expect to then have to go out and get something else so that you can actually use what you've bought. So this isn't necessarily going to be my first choice of the rifle in this range, which is a shame, as I say, because it's I haven't just shot it, it's a very accurate rifle. Now what I did is I had a look in my pellet cupboard, and I've got a tin of BSA Gold Stars, so it made sense. BSA barrel, use BSA pellets in it, because that's probably what they used to test it when it was made. These BSA Gold Stars, I think I'm right in saying that these are exactly the same as H&N Field Target Trophy pellets. They certainly look the same anyway. So let's have a look at the results of shooting it at 25 yards out in my garden. This was the card target then that I was using just to sort of have a play with the rifle and see how it shot. There's some groupings here where I was just sort of like zeroing, and I've circled the groups where I actually sort of like made an effort to try and get the best groups I could. I think apart from this, I think this one up here is a 5-shot group. These are all 10-shot groups. with a full magazine in those groups. You can see they're all dropped slightly low, so I did make an adjustment after this, but just wanted to show you, you know, the size of these groups. This is at 25 yards, so that's easily a 15mm group. That's easily 15mm, 15mm again, and I think that one is, that's a 10mm center, easily in 15mm. So I made an adjustment to raise the shot slightly, and also because the reticle's quite thick, to get a better alignment with the target, I drew these crosses on these ones, and you can see again these are 10 shot groups. Got a couple of flyers on that one, but you know, that group there over the bullseye, a 10mm. Then we got another 15mm, and then that one's another 10mm group. So you know, that's not a bad performance. And I hadn't even done any pellet testing. That was just, you know, randomly selecting the BSA pellets, assuming that, you know, a BSA barrel, BSA pellet should work quite well in. So there you go. You know, not a bad rifle, quite accurate really. If you watch any previous videos, then you'll know what I've said about gun fit in the past, and that if you want accuracy, a good gun fit on your rifle is really important. And for that reason, then we're going to ignore the GX40 and the GX250. I'm going to go for this version, which is the Coyote. Now, this is the synthetic stock that's got an adjustable cheek piece. I understand that they do a walnut stock version of this as well, but that doesn't have an adjustable cheek piece. And it's the adjustable cheek piece that has really sort of identified this rifle for me. The fact that we can get over that problem with the eye alignment in the scope, where I can adjust this so I can get my eye alignment perfectly, the level that I want it. It's the same barrel as the previous two models. It's the same length cylinder as the GX250, so you get the shot count. The stock is slightly different. It's a far beefier, fatter stock, so the pistol grip is a bit bigger and wider than the thinner pistol grip on the 250 and the 40. Instead of stippling in the plastic, it's got these rubber inserts to give you the extra grip, and these rubber inserts on the front of the stock as well. So it actually feels, in the shoulder, it feels quite good. And certainly for my size hands, the pistol grip on this Coyote is a lot better. So for that reason, this is the chosen entry-level PCP for this project. Since I did the video segment in the gun room at Cambridge Gun Club, the latest edition of Airgun World came out with this full-page ad for Gamo airguns, and it's showing this model that I wasn't aware of, which is the Venari, which looks like it's a Coyote but in a package, the same as the Fox is the GX450 in a package. And in this package you get a silencer, the bipod, and you get the scope. So that looks like that's another option for Gamo for the Coyote. I think I mentioned in that segment, I mentioned it was a walnut stock, and quite clearly here the Coyote comes in a beech stock, not a walnut stock. So that's just to update and correct an error that I made in that segment. So the choice being made then, here is my new entry-level PCP, the Gamo Coyote, straight out of the box, and already fitted the scope. You can see we've got a muzzle brake with a 1/2" UNF thread on the end, so I can put a moderator on there, and the adjustable cheek piece at the end. And I must admit, in the flesh, I think with the scope on, it's actually quite a nice looking rifle. Has quite nice lines. Feels quite good in the shoulder. The gun fits nice. It's just the right sort of pull length for me, and with the adjustable cheek piece I can get the eye alignment that I need. What came in the box with it? Well, we got a little bag of stuff. It was the filler probe, a tube of grease, some O-rings, and there's a little tiny Allen key in there, and I wondered what that was for. This is worth mentioning. There's a card in here, and it says that in the filler probe there is an air restrictor screw in the filler probe for when you're using the filler probe with a cylinder. If you're using the filler probe with a hand pump, then you take the restrictor out, you unscrew the restrictor, and that's what the Allen key's for. I've never known that before with a fill probe. That's quite unusual. So I don't know. I assume that just makes it a bit easier for to use a hand pump with the fill probe. I don't know if other fill probes have got a fixed restrictor in. You know, it's just something I just thought was quite interesting. So as well as that, the only other thing in the box was the manual. I have to mention on the manual, this is like one of these one size fits all manuals. I think what they've done is, rather than produce a manual specifically for this rifle, they've tried to pick one that covers all bases. I mean, it's in quite a lot of languages, so you've only really got, what, we've got 2 pages. Yeah, 2 pages in each language. And there's a couple of errors in here really that I think need pointing out. First off, it says that the Gamo PCP has a full-length integral 10.8mm dovetail rail. Well, in actual fact, it doesn't. It has the same dovetail rail as a BSA, which is a 13mm. So whereas the manual here says, what does it say? Designed to accept standard scope mounts. Well, it's not. You can't fit your standard mounts on here. You need to buy the specific mounts for a BSA rifle, which are 13mm dovetail rail scope mounts, not the 9 to 11mm that are standard. So that's the first thing. The other thing as well in here is it talks about the trigger adjustment, and it says that there are 2 adjustments. One in the trigger itself, which adjusts the first stage, and one behind the trigger that adjusts the second stage. Now, the trigger on this rifle doesn't have the adjustment for the first stage. It only has adjustment for the second stage, which I thought was a bit odd, because what I've read online is that the newer triggers are supposed to have the 2 adjustment screws. I did go back to the gun room and I did check all the rifles in there, and they all had the adjustment from the trigger. So either this rifle that I've been sent is old stock, or they've changed the trigger again on these, and you only get the second stage adjustment. That's not a big sort of turn off for me really, because I've been doing some work on this trigger, because it is quite a heavy trigger on the second stage, and there is a bit of creep, so it's going to need some work on it anyway. So this is what we're going to be going forward with, the Gamo Coyote in 177. It's the tactical version. As I say, they also do the beach stock. I think I made a mistake earlier in the video when I was in the gun room saying walnut stock. It's not the walnut stock, it's a beach stock. But that doesn't come with the adjustable cheek piece like this one. And if you've seen that earlier section, you know why I've gone with the adjustment. Now, I need to briefly mention the scope and why this scope is on the rifle. At the same time that I was working out what I was going to buy for this series of videos, I was contacted by Vector Optics to see if I'd be interested in doing a collaboration, which was very good timing. What they asked me to do is to select a scope from their range that they could send me, so that I could see what I thought of their scopes to promote their brand on the channel. And what I did is I selected this Vector Veyron 6 to 20, was it 6 to 24, I think it is, 6 to 24 by 44. And the reason that I selected this one is to go with the same reason that I selected the rifle. I wanted a multi-purpose scope, a scope that you could use for sort of general plinking, a scope with sufficient magnification. So if you wanted to try bench rest, I think 24 times, you know, is is ideal really for somebody just to give bench rest, 25-yard bench rest or 25-meter bench rest to try. Also, the scope would work quite well for HFT, and with the reticle it would make a good general purpose hunting scope as well. So I thought that would fit nicely with the rifle. So I will be doing a review of this scope, a detailed review of this scope in due course after I've used it a bit. And of course I'll be doing a detailed review of the rifle once I've had it for a few months and got to know it better. As far as the rest of this video is concerned, I'm going to do a quick sort of pellet test at 35 yards just so I can get out and put some lead through the rifle, and also I'm going to do my first impressions at the end, just before the conclusions. Let's have a first shoot of this rifle then. I fitted a Humor Air sound moderator on the front to keep it a little bit quiet so we don't annoy the neighbours. I'm shooting at 35 yards. I fitted the scope mate scope camera on so that I can film through the camera. It's early days with this, so I'm not sure how the footage is going to come out. We'll see how it goes. I'm just going to put 5 shot groups down. I mean, the weather is not ideal. It's very, very windy today, but I just want to shoot this because I need to get this video finished and edited so I can release it tomorrow. So we're going to try 4 different types of pellets, starting with the Gold Star, then H&M Barracuda 8s, JSB Exacts and Air Arms Diablo Fields. Got the scope set to maximum mag 24 times, and I'm zeroed in at 35 yards or thereabouts because we're shooting for groups. So let's turn the scope cam on, put it in record, and we'll see how we get on in the wind. Yeah, wind's blowing the pellets around a little bit, as you can see. They're all at the same level, but left and right. That was through the same hole, that. Well, they went a bit wild, didn't they? Right, try the Barracuda 8s then. It's looking like we're going to get some rain soon. Racing the weather now. Some pretty dark clouds coming blowing over. Get this last group shot. I think we're going to have to miss out on the others. Right, see if we can get a couple of groups of JSBs before it starts raining. Look, here comes the rain. Ooh, body over. Ooh. Right. Move the brolly over. Looks like that's it for today's shooting. The rain is cometh. Let's turn this all off. Shame about that. Here's the card we managed to shoot before I got rudely interrupted by the rain then. The top with the gold stars, near a near perfect horizontal line there of the pellets being blown around. Here we've got 4 pellets, one off to the left, so you can see easily fits in near enough. Yeah, I guess that's 10mm centre to centre. Those 4 shots easily fit inside 15mm. This one's not so good. Seem to like the Barracudas. 4 shots there, 4 shots easily within 10mm, and then this one blown away. And again here there's another 4 shots and one went to the left. So yeah, it seems to like those Barracuda 8s. JSBs, just don't know what was going on here. There's 5 here, and then these, I mean, yeah, it's not even worth putting the thing on those. Seems to be that it likes the H&N pellets. So certainly we'll have to do some, sort of proper testing when the conditions allow. But looking good for a first session out in the garden with while the barrel is sort of like leading in and the gun's settling down. It all bodes well for the future. First impressions of this rifle then. Overall, I think it looks quite good. It's the first synthetic stock that I've had, but I like these rubber pieces that have been added. A bit unusual for me because I normally shoot thumb up, and I'm having to shoot with a pistol grip with my thumb round, so that's a bit that's going to take some getting used to. The action is a little bit notchy, obviously because it's new. You have to give it a nice firm pull to make sure you get that last click. Otherwise you push it in and it hasn't cocked properly, and you can easily double load pellets, so you've got to be careful with that. The trigger is very heavy. I've got my spring thing here. I'm just going to do a couple of measures on it just to see what the action is. So there's no pellet in, no magazine loaded, so just going to check on this and see what level of power is required to pull the trigger. That's £3.2468, £3 10 ounces. Let's try that again, see what we get on the second reading. That's £3.12. So quite a heavy trigger, but I know from reading online that I can just replace a longer bolt and reduce that. There's also another trigger mod where I can put a bearing inside that mimics replacing the trigger blade with something more expensive, so I can try that as well. So that'll be the next thing to do, to change that bolt. It's not a game changer, to be honest. I mean, it's a fairly predictable trigger. It's just a long pull, and you have to put a bit of weight on it. As for the accuracy, I think it's sort of early days on that. Need to let in and let it settle down. I need to do a test with whether it's better with or without the barrel band. And it's getting used to a smaller cylinder. I'm used to these large bottles being able to shoot for an hour and not have to worry about recharging the cylinder, where you've got with a smaller cylinder, you've got to be a bit more conscious about how much air you've got left when you're shooting, especially when you're using magazines. But I will be getting a single shot loader for this as well, which I think will might make a little bit of a difference. So there we are. At the moment, I'm really impressed with this rifle, and I'm enjoying it. Looking forward to spending more time out on the range. I will do a dedicated review, and in that dedicated review I will do different forms of shooting. I'll do some plinking, do some bench rest, do some HFT, just to see how it fares in those different scenarios. Well, that's all I've got for this video. The next video in this sequence featuring this rifle will be entitled something like New Gun Now What, which is a video that I've been asked to do, or people commented when I suggested it and said it was a good idea, about what you do when you get a new gun, take it out of the box, what's the process of getting it ready to shoot on the range. So that'll be the next video. if you're still with me at this stage, thanks for watching. I hope you found that interesting. I mean, it's nice to choose a rifle to review and look at that nobody else seems to bother with. I think that was the sort of motivation between people. A lot of people suggesting like I pick a Gamo rifle and use that, because you just don't see them being used on the channels or being reviewed. So looking forward to getting this rifle out a bit more and shooting it a bit more. It's nice to have something new to play with, and hopefully you'll stick along for the ride. So hopefully see you on the next one. Until then, bye for now.